Welcome battlers to another episode of Go Stadium's Top Picks, with advice and expertise from Go Stadium, presented by me, Kitsune Kurisu. In this video we'll be taking a look at another top pick for the Sylph League Arena's Sinister Cup, the water and fighting type Poliwrath. Poliwrath qualifies for the Sinister Cup with its fighting subtyping and competes with Medicham, Gallade and Primeape as the most usable fighting type in the meta. It's a great anchor to most teams of 3, has a varied move pool that has some nice water, ground and ice type attacks to hit ghost type Pokemon for at least neutral damage, where fighting type moves would be very ineffective. And that varied move pool and the multiple viable movesets it provides makes Poliwrath more difficult to strategize against than some of the other picks. It has a few top counters that are unaffected by what moveset Poliwrath is running, but a few matchups that can swing one way or the other depending on what flavour of Poliwrath is in the fight. Poliwrath has 5 weaknesses to be wary of. Electric, Fairy, Flying, Grass and Psychic type attacks will all hit Poliwrath for super effective damage. However, Poliwrath resists Bug, Dark, Fire, Ice, Rock, Steel and Water type attacks. For stat product, the best IV split for Poliwrath is a 0-14-14. If you need to acquire your Poliwag, Poliwhirl or Poliwrath from a trade, and you can only trade with best friends, the best you can hope for is a 5-13-15. If you picked up your Poliwag from an egg, or a research task like catch 5 Pokemon with Weather Boost, or a Poliwrath straight from a tier 4 raid, the best split is a 10-14-12. If you want to see where your Pokemon ranks, visit gostadium.club/PvP/IV. Poliwrath's possible fast attacks are Bubble, Mudshot and Rock Smash. Mudshot is a legacy fast attack on Poliwrath, and if you don't already have one, it's well worth trying to barter a trade with someone who may still hold on to their old Pokemon. Bubble will be the best pick for trainers without access to legacy Poliwrath. Mudshot, for those who can use it, is a very viable pick, but Rock Smash has little use in this cup. Rock Smash charges charged attacks so slowly that you're better off using Bubble or Mudshot to get to Dynamic Punch or Power Up Punch if you want to deliver that fighting type damage. Bubble deals a lot more damage than Mudshot. You can see here its damage per turn is 3.2 compared to Mudshot's 1.5. That extra damage is the difference between winning and losing in matchups such as Drifblim, but Mudshot is fast and has a great energy yield, so will charge every charged attack faster than Bubble. Poliwrath has 7 possible charged attacks: Dynamic Punch, Power Up Punch, Hydro Pump, Ice Punch, Frustration, the legacy attack Submission, and Purified Poliwrath learn the move Return. I haven't listed Return here because Purified Pokemon are at least level 25, which would push Poliwrath over the 1500 combat power limit for the Great League, and is therefore not a charged attack you can use or worry about facing in upcoming Sinister Cup battles. Your best options are combinations including Dynamic Punch, Power Up Punch, Hydro Pump, and Ice Punch. Frustration is terrible, intentionally, and Submission is just an underpowered Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch has a great balance between energy cost and damage. Power Up Punch might have been the obvious fighting type attack until the recent rebalance. Its damage output is low and now even lower, but it raises the attack stat, buffing every fast and charged attack it uses afterward, and works particularly well in conjunction with Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is relatively slow, but powerful, especially as Poliwrath gets stab when using it. Ice Punch is fast, doesn't benefit from stab, but can be a useful option for delivering super effective damage against Drifblim, Claydol, and Lugia, for example. While Lugia will still destroy a Poliwrath, landing an Ice Punch before you go down could leave the Lugia suitably injured to be defeated by your next Pokemon. These charts show you how quickly, or not, you'll be able to charge these charged attacks with Poliwrath's 3 possible fast attacks. Here it's clear why we can comfortably discount Rock Smash, and see how Mudshot's speed makes it more effective at charging charge attacks than Bubble. For those who don't know, Pokemon Go trainer battles are comprised of turns, each lasting half a second. Every fast attack has a duration, which determines how many turns need to have passed before the Pokemon can use that attack again. Mudshot has a duration of 2 turns, but Bubble has a duration of 3. If there is an imbalance like this, it can make simply counting fast attacks misleading, as it may appear Bubble can charge faster. For example, it takes 5 bubbles to charge Dynamic Punch, and 6 Mud Shots. But because Mud Shot can fire every 2 turns, and Bubble every 3, those 6 Mud Shots are completed in fewer turns, and therefore less time, than 5 bubbles. Looking at Poliwrath's key matchups, your success varies depending on which moveset Poliwrath is using. With Bubble, Dynamic Punch, and Ice Punch, Poliwrath has positive matchups against Steelix and Drifblim. Dynamic Punch is enough to win against Steelix with no shield bait required. Bubble and Ice Punch is the only moveset that consistently beats Drifblim, but requires high stat product IVs. This moveset wins the mirror match against a power-up punch Poliwrath, and has a winnable matchup against Haunter, depending on Haunter's moveset. Poliwrath wins versus a Dark Pulse Haunter, but if you're facing a Legacy Haunter with Shadow Ball, if the Haunter baits, then it's a charge move priority tie. If Haunter is using Sludge Bomb and successfully baits, then it wins. If you choose to run Power Up Punch with Ice Beam instead, you do get a bait-dependent win against Claydol in the one-shield scenario if the Poliwrath has high stat product IVs, and some limited steamroll potential with the right setup. Other than that, Power Up Punch provides no noticeable, reliable wins when compared to Dynamic Punch. Go Stadium recommends Dynamic Punch to have a more comfortable matchup against Steelix, and because Bubble and Power Up Punch Poliwrath loses the mirror match against Poliwrath running Bubble and Dynamic Punch. Next up, we'll look at Bubble with Power Up Punch and Hydro Pump. We recommend Power Up Punch over Dynamic Punch as the fighting type charged attack in this combination, as Power Up Punch maintains a reliable win against a Lowland Marowak. With Bubble, Power Up Punch and Hydro Pump, Poliwrath can beat Dusclops with 2 Hydro Pumps. Foregoing Dynamic Punch makes the matchup against Steelix trickier though. Power Up Punch Poliwrath can now lose to a Dragon Tail Steelix if it baits and wins the charge move priority to get to Earthquake. Versus Drifblim, Poliwrath can pick up a classic sim win. Without the super effective damage from Ice Punch, you need to land a Power Up Punch boosted Hydro Pump in the one shield scenario to win. If the Drifblim user knows to never shield the first attack because Drifblim can survive a non-boosted Hydro Pump, then it's never a win. This moveset is the only one that gives Poliwrath a hope against Medicham using counter Power Up Punch and Psychic in the one shield scenario. It's a best case win, meaning Medicham has to fail its shield bait and Poliwrath has to land its own. If you have access to the Legacy Fast Attack Mud Shot, partnering it with Dynamic Punch and Hydro Pump creates an interesting potential anti-meta moveset. Poliwrath can tank an Earthquake against Steelix and hit back with 3 Dynamic Punches or 2 Hydro Pumps to win. You do need high rank IVs to avoid a potential loss to a bait landing Dragon Tail Steelix, but if you also land the bait, then it's a reliable win even without top rank IVs. Mudshot, Dynamic Punch and Hydro Pump Poliwrath wins all Poliwrath mirror matches. Winning the mirror match is always attractive, but it does so at a cost. This moveset gives up the positive matchups against ghost types like Haunter and Drifblim, which is exactly what made Poliwrath stand out as a great fighting type pick. It's certainly an interesting alternative to the more common Bubble, Dynamic Punch and Ice Punch set though, and could catch your opponent off guard. This moveset has the best matchup against Probopass. It's not IV dependent, so you don't need to be concerned about your legacy IVs. Poliwrath can get to 2 Dynamic Punches in the one shield scenario and take the win. This moveset reliably defeats Feint Attack Dusclops, and generally wins if Dusclops is using Hex, although it can lose with some IV combinations. High stat product IVs or high attack IVs win, but some more mediocre IVs, which may be all you have to work with a legacy Poliwrath, lose, but not by a massive margin. If Poliwrath is using Mudshot, Ice Punch and Hydro Pump, completely foregoing any fighting type attack, it sacrifices the fighting head-to-heads to regain efficacy against the ghost types including Haunter and Dusclops. Against Dusclops running Feint Attack, Poliwrath wins with straight Ice Punches. Against a Dusclops using Hex, Ice Punch results in a charge move priority tie, or can win with a baited Ice Punch followed by a landed Hydro Pump and Ice Punch. Against Dragontail Steelix, you can for the most part win with 2 Hydro Pumps if Poliwrath has high stat product IVs. It can be a bait dependent win against a Thunderfang Steelix if it hits a Thunderfang breakpoint. You will not win against any reasonably bulk weighted Drifblim, but 3 Ice Punches is enough to leave it with very little HP. Against Probopass, it's a bait dependent win. Poliwrath has to land the Hydro Pump, but can't double Hydro Pump in the 1 shield scenario. It does consistently win with shields down though. Whichever of these movesets you choose, or face, Poliwrath has positive matchups against Empoleon, Mawile, Alolan Marowak, and Bastiodon. Medicham, other than that one very specific case mentioned earlier, Cresselia, Lugia, Alolan Raichu, Gardevoir, and Gallade all present a challenge too much for Poliwrath and can be considered its top counters. I appreciate that was a lot to take in, with lots of nuanced scenarios that can play one way or another, but that's exactly what makes Poliwrath challenging to play against and a worthy contender for a place in your team of 6. If you liked this video, please drop a like below, subscribe to Go Stadium's YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when we upload more videos like this one. You can find Go Stadium online at gostadium.club, on Facebook and Twitter at GoStadiumPVP, and on Instagram at GoStadium. If you like this style of video, please also check out my YouTube channel by searching Kitsune Kurisu. My videos are very much in this vein, but cover upcoming raid bosses, community days, and other parts of Pokemon Go not necessarily centric to trainer battles. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram at Kitsune Kurisu. Thank you for watching, and best of luck in your Sinister Cup tournaments. Matane!